Welcome to our daily devotional. Today is August 20th, 2020. We've been reading through the lectionary, and today's gospel text is Matthew chapter 16, verses 13 through 20. Let's read. When Jesus came to the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say the Son of Man is?" They replied, "Some say John the Baptist. Others say Elijah, and still others, Jeremiah or one of the prophets." "But what about you?" he asked. "Who do you say I am?" Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Jesus replied, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven. And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." Then he ordered his disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah. End of reading. So I want to go through this passage, and we'll track through. Here we say, Jesus asked the question, who do people say the Son of Man is? So that's our big question in the text. The people are the ones who are witnessing the miracles of Jesus. So remember in Matthew's gospel, we've seen numerous miracles that the people witnessed. Jesus feeding multitudes of people miraculously, miraculous healings. And who do people say the Son of Man is? Jesus referring to himself with his favorite title, the Son of Man. And then they reply, some say John the Baptist. Well, John the Baptist had been killed by Herod, and Herod himself had considered that Jesus may be a resurrected John the Baptist. Or others say Elijah. Now, Elijah, we remember Elijah was a great miracle worker. And still others, Jeremiah. So we may think it's strange that people will think that this is Jeremiah. We have to remember Jeremiah was a prophet of doom, destruction. He was a weeping prophet, the one who foretold the destruction of Jerusalem. And we see some of Jesus's prophecies like this, talking about the destruction of the temple. So some people considered Jesus to be Jeremiah or one of the prophets. So one of the prophets, Jesus is more than a prophet. He's a prophet indeed, but more than a prophet. And that's a very important here, the very important text showing that Jesus is more than a prophet. And Jesus pushes them further. But what about you? What about you? And this is the question. What do people say about Jesus? And what about you? What do you say about Jesus? Who do you say I am? And these are his closest disciples. And then we see Simon Peter answering, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." And this confession that Jesus is the Messiah, the Christ, in other words, the same word, Messiah, Christ. He is the anointed one, the chosen one, the Son of the living God, his divinity there. And then Jesus replied, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven." So we get two things there. Who is Jesus? And how do you know? This divine revelation came to Peter. It's not something you figure out or you calculate, but it's something that is given. This revelation is given to know and confess that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of the living God. And Peter has this further. It says, "Peter, on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it." We have a great promise there. this foundation, this church established upon the rock, the gates of Hades will not overcome it. We have to remember that in these trying times, the church will not be overcome. And then further, this authority is given to Peter and then to the church. I'll give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Now, this is often depicted. We see Peter at the pearly gates when you die, and that's where we get some of this from. But really, it's about authority here on earth, the kingdom of heaven here on earth. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. So it deals with the kingdom here and in the kingdom to come. And whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. So binding and loosing having to deal with the forgiveness of sins. So the church has this authority to free people for salvation, for freedom. And then we come to the final verse in our reading. He ordered his disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah. And they call this the messianic secret. Why? Jesus is keeping publicly secret, the fact that he is the Messiah. He never goes around saying that he's the Messiah, but he does affirm it here that he's the Messiah. So why? Probably they think because there were some expectations for the Messiah to be an earthly king, and Jesus didn't want to that to interfere with his mission. So he wanted to keep this a public secret, and the fact that he was the Messiah would not travel by word of mouth from other people, but it is revealed by the Father. Only the Father reveals it. And Jesus himself says, only those who my Father has given can come to Jesus. So today's reading from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 16, verses 13 through 20. Take your time to read it, to meditate on it, to figure out the answer to the question, who do people say the Son of Man is? What are people saying? And then further explore, who do you say the Son of Man is? And then, how do you know? And then, now that you know, what do you do? Okay. God bless you.